Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Athena Amoeba, and it is time for an update video for weeks 14 and 15. And even though I feel like there's a lot, I will definitely try to keep it short, but I feel like these weeks have been pretty crazy for me internally. Like, I just been going through it. I feel like I've been going through it for like 4 years, and I'm just like, how much longer and am I gonna have to go through this? Like, it's just the subconscious shit that goes on in my head that I just, it's been like really hard. But it hasn't been hasn't been like the hardest that it's ever been, but it's like, I'm just like tired of feeling it, you know? And so just now I reread some chapters from Awaken the Giant Within. I actually already recorded 2 summaries for 2 chapters, chapter 3 and chapter 4, which I think are some of the most impactful chapters in the book. And reading that just made me realize, like, I'm not doing any of this. This is why I'm struggling. Like, I'm not addressing my limiting beliefs. I'm not, you know, I'm not thinking critically about like what I'm associating pain and pleasure to. I'm just like kind of going on default. I've been self-sabotaging. There's just like, you know, a lot that feels like out of control. I was starting to feel like a little like hopeless again, especially about money, because I'm getting sued by, or I'm on the verge of getting sued by like several what do you call them, like, I guess companies or creditors that I owed money to, and I still just like can't believe I got myself into this situation. Like, I can't believe like how much control it has over my life. Like, even though I don't think about it often, like, I actually have tried to not think about the situation. I've tried to actively not think about my financial situation, because I guess the way I started to think about it was like, you know, worrying about it isn't going to help me. You know, it's really not. And it's only going to hurt me, because it's not like it's going to change my outcome. You know what I mean? So I just haven't thought about it. I haven't worried about it. But I always knew it was something I was going to have to like deal with eventually. I just didn't think it was going to be this soon. So I stopped like paying. Basically what happened was I got into a bunch of debt in 2015. At the end of 2015, and that was because I had just left my job in DC. I was like burnt out of my mind. It was like depressed out of my mind. I didn't think I was going to be unemployed for that long. I used up like 2 credit cards. I used up a loan, and I just got myself into, you know, I wouldn't say like a massive amount of debt, especially knowing people are coming out of school with like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, but it's like enough for me to feel like not that I'm drowning in it, but definitely like I feel like I just like don't have the capacity to like deal with it really, because it's basically like I would have to like earn like a whole extra like 1,000 or maybe even more a month than I have been. Like, I haven't really earned more than like $2,200, which is actually a lot of money. I feel like $2,200 a month is a good amount of money, but for all the things I have to pay, it's like, it's not very much, you know? So I just feel like it's just like taken so much control over my life, in the sense that like I can't even like do basic things I want to do, or like invest my like, I can't invest money into things I would want to invest it in, because, you know, not invest in like an investing kind of way, but, you know, like invested into like art, or invested into, you know, doing certain things, like, you know, getting tools for projects like, you know, camera, or even like musical type stuff. Like, I just feel like it's put my life on hold for like a good year now, because all my money is spoken for, basically. And I'm probably not even as responsible with my money as like I should be. I know I'm not, and so that's something I also have to work on. But it's like when you just feel like this weight, it's like when you know you have to do something you don't want to do, and it's gonna take up time that you wish you had for yourself. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like it just like kind of puts me in a place where there are things I want to do, but I feel like I can't do them because there's something else that I have to do or should be doing that I don't want to do. But then I don't end up doing what I should do, and so I just spend a whole chunk of time doing nothing. And so I feel like that's the same thing with my money. Like, I feel like all my money is spoken for, so like the little extra that I do have, I usually end up spending it on something stupid like food. You know, when like maybe I could save that little bit and like do something with it or like pay something back, but like it just feels so insignificant when compared to like the amounts of money that I owe. So that's kind of been bringing me down lately, like the past couple weeks. Not too much, but I think I just have felt like almost hopeless. Like my life is just gonna be about, you know, having to pay this back. My time is spoken for, trying to pay things back, you know, like, I don't know. I think I just been a little bit down on myself, even though I have lots of reasons to be happy. I have like lots of things to be thankful for. I really do, and so that's why I knew I needed to refocus, because I was really just feeling kind of down about that, about other things. I was just feeling down about myself. Even though I have been losing weight, I think like I just felt frustrated that I haven't made as much progress as I wanted to, but I also haven't been doing the things I need to do in order to make more progress. Like I've been self-sabotaging, not super hard, but hard enough to like keep me at plateaus. Like I haven't gained weight back, but I also have not like continued to lose any weight. And by this time I would have had like to be in like the 170 range already, but I'm still in like the 180. But I know it's my fault. Like I know that it's because I haven't been like 100%, you know? But that being said, you know, I can't beat up on myself too much because I have made progress. Like, even to think that last October I was like 220 pounds and I'm like 5'4", and I was like feeling shit about myself. Like, the fact now that I'm actually like 184, like, is something, you know? So I can't feel too bad about it. I know I have to just continue to like claim the victory and feel good about all that stuff so I can keep moving forward and not get discouraged and totally quit or just like decide to like go crazy. But yeah, that's been what's been going on with me for like the last 2 weeks. It's why I haven't recorded anything. It's why I haven't, you know, made the progress I've wanted to make. I think subconsciously I was just feeling like really bad about myself. I'm just feeling bad like about a lot of things, including like my relationships with people, like my relationships with friends, my relationships with family, which like are not like really what I would want them to be, but I feel like I need space for myself. Something awesome that did happen last weekend was I interviewed my friend Isis Vanessa Lopez, and I'm really excited to be sharing that interview really soon. Because there's so much like amazing wisdom that came from that interview, things that I have been experiencing, that I am experiencing now, that she just spoke to, and I was like, thank you for like this validation. The things she said were so awesome, so I'm really excited to share that. But one of the things she talked about was that, you know, she went through a time in her life, and I think she's just an amazing person. She's hilarious. She's got an amazing heart. She's a doctor, for crying out loud, and she just has like this great energy, right? So I just see her as this like all around like wonderful person, even somebody to like look up to, right? And she said that she went through a time in her life when she just felt super down on herself, and she isolated herself, and you know, she didn't engage with like friends as much either, and she didn't, you know, she felt like she wasn't even the same person. And like just to hear her say that just like made me feel so validated, because I feel like I've been isolating myself kind of in a way, and I haven't been there for people like I guess the way I normally would be, but it's because I don't have the capacity to, you know? Like, I love everybody who is my friend and who is in my family, but I just like don't have the capacity to like be there for anybody right now. Like, I'm trying to just like feel good about me, and I really don't, you know? I really don't. I'm trying though. And that's what like all of this is for. Like that's what reading these books is for. That's what like watching these interviews is for. That's what like trying to change the way that I think is for. It's because like I'm trying to feel good. You know, like I'm trying to like set myself on a path so that I don't wake up like 5 years from now and be like, how the fuck did I get here? Which is basically how I felt for the last like 4 years, you know? But that being said, I know that I gained a lot of valuable experiences. I changed in a lot of ways I would have never expected to change. And I think that's like one of the hardest things too, is like when you go through so much drastic change in such a short period of time, like kind of at the end of it, you're like, who am I really, you know? Like, what am I? Like, even about basic stuff, like, what do I really like care about? Like, I used to be so obsessed with things. Like, I used to be so obsessed with like certain bands, certain music, certain topics that I'm just like not anymore, you know? And it just kind of leaves me questioning like, well, who am I? And you know, maybe I don't know the answer to that question. And like maybe that's okay. Like maybe like the process to figuring that out is just something that I need to go through. And like maybe you know, there's not even one finite thing, but maybe it's just something that is constantly changing, and trying to hold yourself to a finite thing is stopping you from growing, you know? I don't know. It's just like all the things I feel that I think about. And like honestly, I just opened up to a friend of mine recently that lately I've just been feeling like a total failure again, you know? And so while I'm sharing all this stuff about like think positive and like feel good about yourself, like the truth is like I don't, but that's why I'm into all this shit. And like I'm really trying, you know? And I guess like one of my biggest fears is that nothing will change and that everything will be the same, and I'll still feel this way, and I'll still be going, you know, dealing with all these same issues for like the rest of my life, and I really, really don't want to, you know? And so that's why I'm really trying to like change the way that I think. I'm trying to like set myself up for like with a positive foundation, so that I can actually make like concrete changes, so that I don't get myself stuck into these situations like over and over again. Or so I don't just stay stuck in the same situation for the rest of my life, you know? I don't know, just a lot of stuff. But that's really what I've been feeling for like the last 2 weeks. Again, like why I haven't posted many videos, and just like, I don't know, trying to like pull myself out of it without really letting myself be fully in it at the same time. But I just have to like remind myself like this is part of the process. Like it's part of the process to, you know, we don't just like change overnight. Like as much as I've been wanting to change the way that I feel about myself, as much as I've been wanting to change like certain beliefs I have or certain patterns or behaviors that I have, like it's not going to change overnight either, you know? It's going to take like consistent practice and consistent reminders of what kind of life I want to wake up to in 5 years, you know? Even what kind of life I want to wake up to in a couple months. But you can always overestimate what you can do in 1 year and underestimate what you can accomplish in 5. So that's why I focus on like the 5, because if I put too much emphasis on like, oh, in a month I want to wake up and my life is totally different, I know, you know, I'll just set myself up for disappointment. But thinking like long term, like if I want my life to be different in 5 years, like if I don't want to have this like financial stress, like if I actually want to have resources for myself and other people, then I need to do things differently. Like what do I need to do differently? But like the root of all of that is still how I feel about myself, because like I've said before, like one of the things that's been holding me back from actually going and making more money is that I just feel like total shit about myself. But I think, you know, thankfully that is starting to change, even though it hasn't changed as much as I want it to. It is, and I know it is, and I just have to continue to do these things. And, you know, that's also something that all these books I've been reading, all these interviews I've been listening to, they talk about. Like, there's like times when you feel like you're failing, or there are times when you make progress, and then there's times when you slip back. But it's like throughout all of that, you have to just keep going. Like even in the times where you feel like you're failing, even in the times where you feel like you're not getting anywhere, where you feel like you're even taking steps back, you know, you just have to like refocus and keep going in the direction of what you want, you know? So for me, that's like remembering like, okay, so I let like all these horrible like negative thoughts about myself like get the best of me like the last 2 weeks. So what do I have to do to refocus? Like how do I evaluate these limiting beliefs? Like let me take time to do that again, which I know I need to, because like again reading chapter 3 and chapter 4 again from Awaken the Giant Within, I was like, oh, this will help me if I actually do it, you know? And so I've been thinking too about like my daily ritual, because I've been working from home and I haven't really like done anything with that. Like I thought I was gonna have the opportunity to like do more with my time, but really all I have been doing is just like feeling bad about myself for some. Well, I also did get overwhelmed with work. I think that was another thing. And then I don't know, I think I just had a lot of feels about a lot of stuff that just like set me back, but it wasn't the things themselves, it was me allowing myself to feel bad about these things, right? So anyway, so yeah, I've been thinking about, you know, how do I actually want to spend my days everywhere? Like, again, every interview, every book talks about rituals. It talks about things that you have to do daily, because doing things daily is what shapes your life. And we are our rituals, and we are our lack of rituals, and, you know, just we are a culmination of what we do every day or don't do every day. So that being said, I've been thinking about, okay, I need to take actual time. I need to set space in my day to think critically about these beliefs, to address them every day, to like practice them every day. I need like actually take a chunk of time in my day to do it. Like, I've been doing it a little bit throughout the day, and I can tell that I've gotten better. But, you know, in order to get to where I want to be, I have to actually spend more time and more and be more intentional about it. So I've been thinking, first thing when I wake up in the morning, I should do that for like an hour. You know, is like all the exercises that I've, you know, been doing in my mind casually, like do them every day until they're like solid, until I've changed my beliefs, until, you know, I feel more certain about all the things I want to feel certain about. So that's something I'm gonna do this week. For the next week. This coming week is week 16, so week 16 I'm gonna do that, and hopefully it will influence my progress that I make for my weight loss, because that's like my biggest goal for this year, because if I do that, I will feel really good about myself. So for the mere fact that I like accomplished something, that's what I'll feel good about myself, like actually accomplished a goal that I set for myself. So anyway, that being said, this is kind of like long and rambly and ranty, but that's really what's been going on for like the last 2 weeks, weeks 14 and 15. And like coming out of that and going on to week 16, I just know I have to be more intentional about what's going on in my mind, be more intentional about the beliefs I want to have, so that they will influence the decisions I make every day. And all of that is in the Tony Robbins content that I'm sharing, so be sure to watch that if you haven't already, if this resonates with you. Because I'm going to be doing these exercises myself this week because I really need to. So yeah, that is that. It sounded probably really negative, but it's actually positive, because now I know that I just have to refocus, right? So that's all we can do, is just, if we mess up, if we're not doing well, all we can do is refocus and give our attention and our energy to areas that need to be improved. That's all we can do. Also, just another thing I want to note is, like, I've felt like I've had no energy the last couple weeks, and like I feel that a lot actually. And you know, they say that that's like a sign of depression. It's just like having no energy to like not be able to do anything or to not want to do anything. And it's not that I don't believe that. I do believe it's a sign of depression. But what I don't necessarily agree with is like the cause. I don't necessarily think it's like a chemical imbalance. Maybe it is for sure for some people. I think though that it has a lot to do. It goes back to like the record that's playing in our head. Like, what are the beliefs that you have? Like, the beliefs that we have, the things that we say to ourselves, the things that we think are either going to make us feel drained or they're going to make us feel energized. And I feel like the loop that I have going on in my subconscious brain just so often just makes me feel drained as fuck. And then that I feel like I don't want to do anything, or like, what's the point of doing anything, because I just have this like extremely negative tape playing over in my head, making me feel like I have no energy. You know? And so I feel like addressing this issue is really important, and like really affects me in so many like real tangible ways every single day. So that's why it's like important to me. I do think that we can cultivate thoughts that will make us feel energized, that will give us more energy. And so that is what I'm going to be working on and focusing on for the next couple of weeks. That, and of course, still working to lose weight. Haven't lost any more, but thankfully haven't gained so much, especially because I've been self-sabotaging. I'm still like 185, so you know, I will get there eventually, and at least I've made some progress to hold on to in the meantime. So yeah, that's all for now. That's where I'm at. All we could do is refocus. And if you're feeling this way too, you're not alone out there. I feel the same way, even though, you know, people probably think I'm weird and always talking about like positivity. The reason is because I need it. Like, you know, I really need it. Otherwise I'd be in this like doom and gloom state forever. So anyway, that's all. I'll stop rambling now. But thank you for watching. Thanks for going on this journey with me. I hope that your week is amazing. And if it's not amazing, then that's okay too. Then I hope you just take the time and space to give yourself what you need in the moment. And don't be hard on yourself, because we are all just doing the best that we can, I think. You know, and beating up on yourself isn't going to make you do anything any faster, any better. It's probably just going to drain you. So don't beat up on yourself, but just like, you know, be your own support system, be your own coach. Ask yourself questions about, you know, what's going to help you, what you need, you know, and just give yourself space. Even if other people won't understand it, even if like, you know, other people will disagree with you, who gives a shit? Like, only you know what you need, only you know what's going to work for you. And sometimes we're wrong, but sometimes we have to go through that, you know what I mean? And it just is what it is. We're all on our own path. So I will stop rambling for real now, but that's all I got. Until next week, much love.